Hello, this is Don Hall. This is at Don Hall Works YouTube channel, and in this how-to video I'm going to show you how I decorated this plate. In earlier videos I showed you how I threw it, and then another I showed you how I trimmed it, and in this one I'm going to decorate it for you and you can see how it's done. So let's get started. And in this video I'm going to transfer and decorate and glaze this design on here. I'm going to go through it step by step, show you how I do it. The first part of this process in order to get this image transferred over to my plate is to trace. For this part I'm using a felt tip pen because I want to be able to see my image quite well when I lay it down onto the bottom of my plate. Now I could do this with pencil, and if I used pencil I could just simply turn this image over onto the plate and then rub it from behind and transfer it over. But if I did that, it would be backwards. And I decided I want to keep this one the same way I originally drew it. All right, that'll give me enough information so that I can transfer it over. I'm going to go ahead and draw on the rest of these lines now. I traced the drawing with the felt tip pen, and now I want to transfer it over to the bowl, to the plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to use this real soft pencil, and I'm going to copy all the lines on this side, and after I've done that I will show you what I do next. But basically I'm just going to go over all my lines once again with this very soft 6B pencil that I'm going to transfer over to the plate. And I'm going to go ahead now and finish this drawing, and then I'll show you that part. So I drew on here with the soft pencil all over the lines. Now I'm going to flip it over so it ends up being the same, going the same direction as my original drawing. And I'm going to tape it down because I've discovered that when you do this, oftentimes this tracing paper will roll up in it and you lose your place. These pieces of tape here are just put on there because my tracing paper wasn't big enough to fill up the space I wanted, so I had to use two sheets and I glued them together, or I should say I taped them together. These locked down. Now here's my main tool. It's just a spoon, and I just gently rub over the entire image, and that line that I drew on there a minute ago will transfer from the paper onto the clay, and it'll give me an idea of how I want my finished drawing to be. It only takes a second to do this. This is an ancient technique that's been used forever, but it still works perfectly fine, and I use this all the time. I could have saved a step by not caring whether the image was forward or backwards or reversed, but because I have other artworks that I've used this design on, I want them to all be the same. I did a large acrylic painting of this image, and so I want the plate to be an actual representation of that and not simply a mirror image of it, if that makes any sense at all. All right, I think that'll work. I'm gonna peek now and see if it transferred. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but all right. I don't know if you can see this or not in the video, but I'm going to go over it and you'll be able to see it here in a second. Okay, so I drew that on. Now I'm painting over those pencil lines that were transferred over, and I'm using this kind of a line brush. It's a very long, thin brush. I'm using Underglaze here, and why I'm doing this is just so that I will have a nice line to follow as I add the color. Now, it's going to take a couple of coats, a couple of 3, maybe even 4 coats of different colors to fill in all these spaces, but that's okay. And I'm going to have to redo this line that I just put on here again. It'll be the very last thing I do. I'm going to paint the color in, then I'm going to go back over the lines just to define them in the final part of this decoration. Now I'm painting on my first coat of Underglaze. It normally will take about 3 coats, and so this is a long, tedious process, but it's an enjoyable process. I love to do this and get the first coat down so I can see what it's going to look like and not just imagine it like I was before. I've done the white and the black, and I'm starting on putting in some red. You can probably see on the white it isn't covered clearly. In order to get a nice flat color, it takes several coats. All right, I've given every color 1 coat so far. I'm going back now to doing my second coat. This is a little more difficult coat because sometimes it's more difficult to find out, to see what you have already given a coat and which you haven't. But I'm going to paint everything out another time. All the colors have now been given at least 3 coats, some more. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of shading to the figure on here to just give it a little bit more feeling of three-dimensionality. All right, so that's add a little bit, and Now I'll add a little bit of white here just to give it a little softer look. All right, I'm gonna try to do the face by adding a little shadow here and there. Same thing, I do add a little bit of the what I've done is I've taken this color here and I've added a little bit of black to it, just a little bit to give it a more lifelike. And then I put that on, then I add a little bit of, and hopefully when it fires, it'll give us a little bit more of a feeling of three-dimensionality. Now if I add a little white to it, it should make it pop out a little bit more. All right, now I'm going to get my black line brush out again and got the black out again. I'm going to go back around and once again paint all these lines that I've already painted once before, and everything should really pop then. Here's the plate. It's been misfired to cone 1, and I'm going to paint a little bit of glaze on here now and refire it. This is cone 06 glaze. I'm going to glaze fire it at cone 06 just to make it shiny. And then when that's done, we will see the finished product. But that's basically all there is to it. I'm just giving it kind of a thin light coat. I don't want it to be, I don't want to make it to get it too shiny. So that's all I'm going to do. Now I'll let that dry. I'll put it in a kiln and we'll be able to see it in just a sec. Let's see what we got. Wow, there it is. It's been thrown, it's been trimmed, it's been decorated, it's been fired twice. Remember, this is the third video in this series. The throwing part, the trimming part, and the decorating part. So look for those earlier 2 videos on my channel at Don Hall Works YouTube. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.